I want to talk about why you shouldn't swear or curse and what that actually means, because I don't think a lot of people know what it means. Okay, so we all grew up being like, don't swear, but I mean, you've heard George Carlin, totally obliterate the idea of just not saying a word makes you a good person or saying the word makes you a bad person. Like, what the fuck? Like, why is that? Like, why is fuck? Like, what could possibly be bad about just pronouncing something? And I mean, there is a point. It's not arbitrary. It's one of those things about religions that we think are just little dogma, like a little stupid rule to control the masses, to to follow and feel like, oh, I did a good job. I didn't say swear. I didn't say fuck. I said fudge. It's like, whatever, dude. You still expressed anger and discontentment and pronounced a word like based on it that had the exact same energy behind it. So the fuck are you patting yourself on the back for? Because, well, and there is something to be said for having restraint, for putting a limit on yourself and just not doing something that you used to do, that you have a habit of doing. Breaking a habit is, that's a valuable skill. But it's not the full reason for why not to swear. There's value in having restraint of pen and tongue and not immediately having a knee-jerk reaction, and when someone cuts you off in traffic being like, yo, fuck you, and then getting in a fight with the guy. Because I did that one time. We went fuck you back and forth until we both got pulled over next to a Steak and Shake and got out of our cars and broed up to each other, and we didn't do anything because we were both fucking pussies and we were just mad. So and I'm glad we were pussies in that instance. But getting off track. So that happened, but that's where not restraining, not having a pause button after you have an emotional reaction to something, and instead just saying, oh fuck, can lead down a bad road, and it can lead to a lot of pain and suffering and injuries and burnt bridges, broken families. I mean, there's siblings who don't talk because someone said some shit at Thanksgiving and they don't talk for a decade, and now like fucking all their lives are so much worse because a lot of reasons, I'm sure, but the ball that set some of those disasters rolling were just words. Fuck you. So these are some good reasons not to swear, but I want to just go a little deeper, because what was meant when the advice not to swear is given was something much more profound and regularly useful and invaluable to the way we live our lives. And here's the gist of it is, it's not so much just don't say a bad word and here are the list of the words. It is more know that when you take your thoughts, positive or negative, and convert them into a statement and pronounce it, you are initiating a contract with reality, to manifest that thought into physical matter. And that's what the word affirmation means. Stand in front of your mirror. If you're into self-help, you're going to stand in front of your mirror and say, I am beautiful, and I am, people like me so, whatever you say, whatever's important to you, I am making $20,000 this month, or just whatever the thing you want to affirm is, you pronounce it. It's a thought in your head, it's a desire, it's a dream, and we all heard about this, the book, The Secret, you turn it into words and you say those words, and that's a step in the process of manifesting and creating that. It's a process of something going from a thought to an actual thing that exists in physical matter, in reality, and that's where the word affirmation comes from, because it's to affirm something is to make it solid. to take it from an ethereal, metaphysical place in the mind and turn it into firm physical matter. So why shouldn't you do that? I mean, that's kind of like, that's not something to avoid doing. Well, it's a powerful thing. Affirmations are a powerful motherfucking power that we have, so much so that the Bible, it's a book about the way things work. It's a spiritual book, really popular one. The first words in some of the books one of the books in the Bible is, in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So, what the fuck does that mean? Well, what is God? God is, another name for God is the Creator. So, in the beginning of that book in the Bible, it says, in the beginning there was the Word, and nothing else. Just the Word, man. What is it talking about? Well, it says that the Word is the same as God. The Word was with God, but also the Word is God. So, reflexively, God is the Word, and God is a creator. So, modas ponens, ipso facto, the Word is the creator. What words do, what language does, what is bridge the world of thought and metaphysical and abstraction into created reality. I'm an artist and I make paintings, and so it's a process that's familiar with me, for me, getting a vision. And I think I don't know where it comes from. It's a whole nother conversation where that comes from, but I can get a vision. I see, oh, that's going to be beautiful, right? And then I get to work taking what's in my mind and bringing it into reality so I can share it with people in the form of an image or painting or a mural or something. In the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Words are creators. Words are a link between thoughts and reality. So when the advice was given, don't swear and don't curse, it was given because to swear and to curse are being irresponsible with the power of creativity or the power of the word. In other words, to be irresponsibly flexing the power of God. That's what it is to curse or to swear. That's why another way of saying this is, do not use the Lord's name in vain. Again, what's a name? A name is a word for a person or a being, a place or a thing, and a name of something. So the word for God, right, is the name of God, right? And so when you could just say God, but you say, do not use God in vain. Do not use the power of God in vain. Do not use the name of God in vain. And of course, in vain means to contribute to the ego. Vanity is to make yourself look pretty. And yet when we say that something was all in vain or that was all done in vain, we don't exactly usually mean that that was done to make ourselves look good. But what we mean is that it was trivial and inconsequential. So where's the connection there? Well, to use the Lord's name in vain is to use the power of the Creator, to use the power to create for the purposes of something much less consequential and much less important, substantial than what it's meant to be used for. And so for example, to use the power of God to pump up your image, and that's the meaning of vanity. But the point of this talk is to explain exactly what was meant by do not swear and do not curse, because the point of it was not to just be like, oh, don't say fuck and shit. I remember when I was little, my friend Chris and I, we were in kindergarten and we started a gang. It was called Bad Kids. Well, we were some bad motherfuckers, man. And our main activity as these bad kids was we would also Paul was a big member of the group. Shout out to Paul. Paul Clark. But our main activity was we'd go out in the woods and we would just walk around, just kicking sticks around, and we'd just be like, fuck. Shit. What's your favorite swear word? I asked Chris. He said, probably shit. How about you? I was like, definitely fuck. That's not all that, and we were being bad, we were being little rebels, but that's not all that was meant by the, the ancient and has stood the test of time spiritual suggestion and guidance to not swear. What was meant by the advice not to swear was to make a solemn oath that you think you can just abide by day after day, year after year, without considering whether it's still a valid way to live your life. So don't swear means don't just decide today, even if you think it's a good decision, I'm gonna do yoga. I did yoga today, I felt like I had a great practice. And I was just so much more prepared for the day, and my head was clear. I think I'm gonna do yoga. You know what? Fuck it. Right now I'm gonna swear. I'm gonna swear to God. I'm gonna do yoga every single day at this time. Because if I do that, my life will just get so good. Wait, what's going on? What are you doing? What about just like you have a nice dinner party, an impromptu dinner party. You're just going about your life. A couple friends happen to stop by, and you're like, oh, we should call these people. They come over, and all of a sudden, there's candlelight, and the sun is setting, and there's a fire going because somebody made a little, and there's some cool music, and someone's cooking something, and you're having this vibe, and it's just such a nice time. It's such a nice dinner party. It just happens to be Sunday night, so you say, there's always that guy, and it's usually me. Hey guys, we should do this every Sunday night. We should come back here and all just come. And what are you doing? Because no one likes it when that guy, that guy. He's like, we should get together, everybody, and we should do this again and again every Sunday night. And it can be a whole thing, a tradition. We can make a tradition out of it. There's nothing wrong with traditions, that's not what I'm saying. It's wonderful. It's wonderful that you do that. And have Sunday supper, fuck it. I love a Sunday supper. I'm talking about where this comes from, and this human desire, and where it might come from, and where if you do this kind of thing because it comes from one of these kind of places, you're doing something that's ill-advised, and you should cut it out. That guy who says, guys, let's try to do this every Sunday night. That person who has a good yoga practice and swears to themselves that they will do it every single day. This is a person who has been living in a dry spell of good vibes. They have not felt this kind of happiness and this kind of vibe in a little while. And they think that this dinner party or that yoga practice has been the cause of their current good feelings. And because it's been a while since they felt this good, their next thought is, their thoughts go like this: wow, I feel great. That's number one. Number two, geez, I have not felt this good in quite a while. Thought number three, I would like to feel this good more often. Now we get into desires, and then we get into fears. But I thought 4 or 5, whatever we're on. But I probably won't feel this good anytime soon because I haven't felt this good for quite a while. And I don't want to endure another dry spell for the next, few months or years. I want to make sure that this thing that's giving me this good feeling happens again. So I swear I'm going to do this yoga practice every morning. Or even more, you try to get everybody to enter in this contract together with you. 5 or 6 people, can we all agree that we'll definitely be here, every Sunday, so we can keep doing this, because I'm afraid that I'll lose it, So this desire to to concretize a way of life, so that good things stay in place. This is what swearing is. It's saying, it's just making a mistake. It's just having a good experience and or a bad experience. You know, and be like, I swear I'm never going to do that again. Well, there might come a time where it's a good idea to do that again. So don't swear. And what you're making this promise to yourself. So now, when you don't get together next Sunday with those friends because your fucking tummy aches or whatever, you fucking just, do not feel like following through on the plans you made, or, the very next morning when you're like, I don't want to get up and do yoga, fuck that, When you break that promise to yourself, you lose trust in yourself, right? And you create a gap, a little bit of distance between yourself and yourself. Between the way you view yourself and who you truly are. And that gap is responsible for a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of delusion. That kind of gap, we want to be in line. That kind of gap is the definition of how out of line or out of alignment you are. And so you want to build trust with yourself, and one way to do that is to just not swear, not to make a promise to yourself that you're going to act this way always. Because for one thing, the only reason you're making that promise is because you're afraid, and what are you afraid of? You're afraid that you're not going to be able to handle life as it is. So you want to just kind of make a contract that life is always going to be good or it's never going to be bad in this way or that. That's what a swear is. A curse. Why should you not curse? Why should you not say, fuck you? Well, because do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. When you fuck someone else, that fucks you, You ever try to fuck someone and not get fucked? I mean, literally, sexually. If you're fucking, you are, by definition, being fucked. You can't fuck without getting fucked. Why is it bad to curse? Well, to curse is to use your language against another or against yourself it's really stupid, to create a bad event and ensure that a bad event happens, or to prevent a good event from happening. I know how this goes. Fucking, it's gonna be one thing after another with this, person I'm about to hang out with. They never change, like you're going home for Christmas. Well, I know how my my family member is gonna act because they always do. It's the way they always act. You just curse them, You're using your words, you're using your power of God, your power to create a future narrative, where these bad things are gonna happen. And you're cursing yourself, you're cursing your experience, you're cursing your family members, you're cursing, you train people how to treat you. They will, so someone who commands respect walks into any room and all of a sudden people are like, oh, I fucking respect this guy, even though they don't know him, right? And it's because he's got a vibe, it's because that person has taken some time to develop an aura and an air about themselves that commands respect. And the same for somebody who's like a little bitch, A little bitch walks in the room, you usually know it. Oh, geez, that guy. And you just kind of walk all over them. Or if you're working a spiritual program and you're really doing your best to do unto others and treat others the way you'd like to be treated, then hopefully you don't walk all over them, and hopefully you don't bow down to the alpha in the room who's commanding respect. But hopefully what you do is you still recognize your internal psychological and biological influences that are kind of giving you a little bit of a nudge. You could take advantage of this person. Look how weak they are. Or watch out, don't fuck with this person. Might get my fucking ass kicked. And if you're working a spiritual path, hopefully what you're doing is you're observing that, you're aware of those and those tendencies that you have, so that you are not just behaving on autopilot and you can actually interact with the person. Anyway, getting off track. The point is, a curse is when you decide that something bad is going to happen. Fuck, this day sucks. This is just one of those days. Nothing's going to go my way. I'm going to fucking, trip over my shoelace. I'm going to stub my toe. Some bill collector's going to call. It's not going to go well for me. These are thoughts. Fuck you if you just said I don't have those thoughts. I'm sure you have lots of lovely positive thoughts, but you have those ones too. And if you don't have them, you have your own version of those ones. And if you don't have those, I promise you, you just don't fucking know. And they have all the power in the world over you. And you will occasionally ask yourself, and I'm only saying any of this because I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me, this is my journal. Fuck you. You're me. This is my journal. I just put it on YouTube, so I'm not actually talking to you. Everything I'm talking about is things I've experienced, kind of my perspective. And hey, come on, it goes without saying, I'm sitting here alone in my fucking dining room saying it. This is just my shit. But fuck you if you don't think if you have these tendencies, you're probably wrong. These are ubiquitous through the human experience, and we all have our own versions of them. And I believe that that's true. So to curse is to, it also happens out of fear. It's also something that's motivated by fear. And the best way to describe the reason we curse is what people say, go into everything with low expectations and you'll never be disappointed. Now, I've experienced this. When I went to see the first Hunger Games movie, I thought it was going to be a documentary on competitive eating. Those guys like eat the mountain of hot dogs, the fastest, and they're always like really skinny Asian dudes, and they just get super bloated. And I wasn't so excited to see that, but my point is I had no expectations. I knew so little about the movie that when I saw it, I hadn't read the book. I wasn't like, it's not doing it for me. I was blown away by that movie. I was like, this is... Also, I like sci-fi, and, it was a fucking great movie, the first one. But I've experienced that. I've experienced starting with low expectations and having that work out pleasant for me. So what I might do then is I might adopt that philosophy on life and be like, expect the worst and prepare for it. That way, if it happens, you won't get fucked up. You brought an umbrella, so you don't get wet. And 99% of the time when it doesn't rain, you just have to carry around an annoying fucking umbrella. You saved yourself from the most abundant and valuable at the same time resource falling from the skies and just landing on your shoulder and face. Good thing you prepared for the worst and brought an umbrella. You didn't get rained on. It's not a viable approach to life. It's not a viable philosophy. So it's not sustainable to live that way. What happens is you expect the worst, and so you detect what you expect. You expect, no one to like you at the party. You expect the date to be awkward. You expect the family member to say something inappropriate at the dinner table, and you detect what you expect. So you walk into that experience with your detector set to, they're going to say something inappropriate at the dinner party. And what happens is they say something at the dinner party, and maybe they do hit the nail on the head and say something. But even if they don't, man, first of all, you're distracted by listening for them to say something inappropriate. So when they say maybe 6 or 7 appropriate things, you don't those don't align with what your consciousness walked into their detecting. No little detector went off and kind of said, oh, time to, what he's saying confirms my expectation, let me listen to that. No, those things just roll on by. And then when that family member says something that is triggering to you, whether it's inappropriate, whatever it is, man, your detector is like, bam, that's what I expected. I knew I was right. And that's what you give your attention to. So by doing that, by cursing the situation ahead of time and using the word to create a way about yourself that you are hypersensitive to this one kind of thing, you either imagine that it happens, or 90% of what the family member says is fine, and that 10% is the only thing that you focus on and you blow it up, or whatever. You use your creative powers to manifest what you fear. And this is a bad way to use the word or the power of God, the power of creativity. It's a power that you have, whether you're an artist or a fucking stockbroker. And the advice not to swear and not to curse, in some sense it does mean don't say bad words, but it means more than that. It means that your words have power. They are the bridge from the unmanifested to the manifested. They are the tools of creativity, of creation. They create your experience. And we're all doing this together. And the motherfucking Bible starts out, in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God. Dude, words are powerful. Do not use the Lord's name in vain. Do not swear a solemn oath, because tomorrow your circumstances may change, and you might have to change that, and then you will have broken a promise to yourself. And do not curse, because you will walk through life detecting what you expect, and if your expectations are low, your life is going to be low, and you will be a low life. Okay, that's enough wordplay for today.